one of the sites I publish is this one where I consider dark software factories, right? And in there's a change log where I sort of, whenever I bump into anything interesting, I add it in there. And in Meadow, if I look it up, you can see that the existing site is really big. But there's also some untracked changes here because the source graph changed. So if I go ahead and I can put names on those guys, see that they show up kind of further down here. I can solo them. I can quickly look at them. They all seem like reasonable things for me to, oh, here's about this project, interpreter. Yeah, so I can add this in as one of the things. So select them all, and track them. And then once they're tracked, I go to preview, right? And preview, you're going to have some new pages in here, right? The ones that we just added, the untracked ones, but then there'll also be changes to other pages. It's been maybe a week since I last published this site. And so in the changes here, although there were only like, what was that, 7 pages that were added, there's actually 125 changes. And those changes, if we were to go here, we could see that there were, well, a little bit of flicker there. There were added pages, right? And some of those are expected from what we just added, right? Like clearly what was added. I know the and knowledge tracing was also added, and we can go look at those and see how they fit in here. There's a bunch of untracked stuff here, probably because this is so far down in the thing, right? So this is right at the edge, and if we really wanted to, we could, increase the outlinks from this and see more stuff. But anyhow, going back to the changes here, the reason why there's so much change in here, what looks like people were deleted and then other ones were added, is that it's been a couple of weeks since I did this, and one of the customizations that I added in that time was page title. I have all these things where I map from my page names to other stuff, but I added one in for this, for changing people names to remove the person part of that page title, because it's it doesn't really help anybody to see that. It looks a little weird. But if I comment that out and I save it, you'll see that the number of changes here that's recalculated is actually significantly smaller, probably, right? Okay, now there's only 19 changes, right? Because that's no longer applying. And so for now, I'll keep that, right? Because I want there to be a smaller number of changes that are easier to reason about for this specific publishing. And this looks pretty good to me. Like I'm not too concerned with this stuff. I know we added, some pages, and these look like the ones that we actually added, and some other stuff. It's a pretty minimal amount of change. So I'm confident in this change now. Okay, so now that I'm confident in it, I can save these changes, and then I can either publish, right, or I can review the updates to what would actually get published to the site. And this is yet another stage in the processing, because if I'm a little uncomfortable, I mean, the site has nearly 1,000 pages in it, right? So I could be like, or actually, I guess it does have 1,000 pages. It could be a little uncomfortable publishing this if I don't know exactly what the changes are that are going to be changed on the destination. And so this actually looks like the changes that are going to be published are essentially the same 19 files. So I guess maybe the last time that I made any changes to the site, I went ahead and published them. And so, yeah, this is the same change now. So I can go ahead and publish that. And then I could surf the site if I wanted to. But actually, I want to go back, because I actually really do want the page titles to look a little bit better and not have the person names in them. But I'll do that a little bit more carefully here by having that be a separate step that I can review independently at this point. So I'll go ahead and save that. It'll recalculate everything there. Okay, so let's see. We're going to see, like, I'm going to remove modified for a second here. You'll see there's like a lot of added and deleted files, and they're all going to be people's names, right? Because that's what changed, was the naming of stripping the person off of the name. Okay, so that makes sense. And then the modifications are going to be, let's go ahead and focus on those specifically. A lot of them are in the footer, right? Because this is backlinks, because I have backlinks enabled. And then some of the stuff is going to be in main. Main will be pretty interesting. Let's take a look at that. I think that's probably like, yeah, it's just, the person is stripped off of what actually shows up inside of the page. So if we were to look at that page, right, let's just go look at the bidder lesson, for example. It just says Richard Sutton now, and it used to say person dash Richard Sutton, right? So that'll make sense. So this all looks, this is all expected at this point, and it says smaller change, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable about it. So I'm going to go ahead and save those changes now. And since we just published, I know what's going to go up there. I'll just go ahead and do it. Okay, so now the site is sort of, up to speed. And I guess if I come back in another week, there's going to be some other changes. Or maybe I'll try to publish more frequently.